Hi there, my name is Justine Friedman. I work as a clinical dietitian and a mindset mentor. Today I'd like to discuss a little bit about women's health over 40. Typically, when we reach the ages of 40 and above as women, our hormone levels and bodies start to change. What this can show up as is a number of different things. But in general, what ends up happening is that we don't always put these changes that we're experiencing down to the hormones and shifts that are happening in our body. And this can lead us to miss out on some of the subtle signs and messages that our body is giving us. So in general, from the age of 40 onwards, we don't really think about going into menopause. And it's something that is not really discussed in great detail until women are actually experiencing hot flashes and night sweats, which can happen actually any time from 40. And sometimes there are even women that are experiencing this as early as their late 30s. But typically from the age, I think the average age of hitting menopause for women is around 51. We don't really think in our mid-40s or early 40s that this is something that we need to be addressing. So some of the early signs of going into what we call perimenopause, which are the years before menopause, which can be as much as 10 years. Generally, the average we see at the moment is that about 7 years before going into menopause, women are experiencing symptoms of perimenopause. And what this means is that slowly over this period of time, our body is reducing the production of progesterone as well as estrogen. And these shifts and changes in balance in these two hormones in our body can wreak havoc and cause many different symptoms. The most common ones that I see are women coming to me complaining that they picked up weight, that they are eating as well as they possibly can, that they're exercising harder than they ever have, and yet they are not losing weight. And in fact, not only are they not losing weight, but they are actually gaining weight, and in areas where they have never experienced weight gain before. So the typical area that we see for women starting to go through these perimenopausal years and where these hormone shifts are starting to change in our body is that the areas of weight gain tend to be over the stomach area. Women, and myself personally, who've always had a smaller, more narrow waist, all of a sudden starts to find that there is deposition of fat in this area. And it's interesting to note that the typical woman who has a slightly smaller waist and then hips and bum and thighs that are a little bit more voluptuous starts to find, in fact, that the bum and thighs start to decrease and are slightly slimmer, as well as the arms. And then all of a sudden, we're now finding that we have fat deposition over the stomach area. This is very normal, and it's part of the whole hormone shifts and changes that we are experiencing. And in fact, it's fascinating to note that eating less and exercising more are two of the things that actually stress the body out more at this time and actually cause more weight gain and cause weight loss resistance. So how do we go about balancing this? Is through understanding why these hormone changes are happening, what is going on in our body, why do we tend to be have this potential to gain weight as opposed to be in a position where we could potentially lose weight. And a lot of this has to do not only with the estrogen and progesterone changes in our body at this time, but with the amount of cortisol that our body is producing from our adrenal glands, as well as how this impacts on insulin, which is the hormone responsible for moderating blood sugar levels. So when our cortisol levels start rising due to stress, which is normal at this time, cortisol is produced in our adrenal glands. And as we age as women, instead of the ovaries producing estrogen and progesterone, our adrenal glands are supposed to take over the production specifically of estrogen. And if our cortisol levels are more elevated, what ends up happening is that we don't produce as much estrogen. And in fact, we therefore cause more insulin resistance as a result of the more elevated cortisol, which then leads to the weight gain, the potential for type 2 diabetes, and this weight loss resistance that occurs. So So there are a few ways of being able to manage this better, both through the way that you eat, the type of foods that you're choosing, as well as the exercise that you choose to do. So the message for today is that understanding that if you are experiencing this, and if you are finding that you're eating less, exercising more, and still not getting the results, that it is important to understand that these are very clear signs that your cortisol level may be more elevated than it needs to be, that you may be experiencing degrees of insulin resistance, and that you need a more personalized plan to be ordered in order to see what all different aspects of your lifestyle are saying, what your stress is like, what your sleep schedule is like, what you are eating, how you are exercising, and how you are balancing your emotional work-life balance and coping with those kind of stresses as well. So this is a personalized plan that can be created for you through working with somebody who is a holistic practitioner like myself. And if these are areas that you are looking for assistance with, then it's definitely important to reach out. You do not have to suffer. You do not have to accept that because I'm now over 40, that now it's supposed to be hard to lose weight and I'm supposed to be gaining weight. That is not the case. You can still lead a life of vitality with good energy and feeling good and positive about your body, and learning how to adapt to the shifts and changes that you're experiencing. If this is something that you would like assistance with, please get in touch. I will be running more courses and putting out more information on this topic as time goes on. This is an area of great passion for me, and an area that I'm personally experiencing and have experienced changes in. So it's something that I'm working incredibly closely with. Wishing you good health, a wonderful day, and please be in touch if you need any assistance or guidance. Take care.